No matter how good you think you may be at cleaning things, there are some things that are absolutely impossible to clean. In today's video, I'm going to share 10 of the absolute coolest little tricks and genius hacks to clean 10 of the most impossible places in your home. And if you stick around for hack number 8, I know that you're going to look at cleaning your home completely different. All right, the very first absolutely impossible thing to clean is hardened wax on carpet or any kind of upholstery. I have had firsthand experience with this when right before guests arrived, we ended up spilling a bunch of melted wax onto our carpet. But don't panic, this is what you're going to do. You are going to take any old rag that you have in your home and get it slightly damp. With that slightly damp rag, you are going to place that onto that dried, or even if it's still wet wax, go ahead and just place it over the top. Then taking a hot iron or a steamer, but preferably you want to use an iron for this, you're going to take your iron and put it directly onto the damp rag. And at first it's going to look like you made that mess 100 times worse, but what's going to happen is you will actually be able to transfer that wax from the rug and carpet onto the damp rag. Keeping your iron on that damp rag, make sure that it's on there for a few seconds, and you are going to see how that wax is starting to transfer from the upholstery or the rug onto the damp rag itself. This is an absolute lifesaver and it's going to work on any material, any rug. Have some patience and you will see how magical this is. The next area that's like impossible to clean, I mean, I guess it's possible, but who really wants to do it? And that's cleaning behind appliances. Your refrigerator, your oven, your dishwasher. Who has the time to move those appliances that are bulky and huge to get behind all of that and underneath every appliance? Well, I would like to introduce you to my little friend over here. This is an extendable slim duster that gets into every little nook and cranny, and because it's so narrow and it has that microfiber cloth on it, it's able to not just dust underneath there, but what I like to do is actually spray with a little bit of degreasing solution, and I will take that dampened duster and I will go ahead and reach in under my oven, because what happens is, yes, you can get a duster and reach under there, but because it's an oven, there's so much built up grease over time. So if you spray that duster with a little bit of that degreasing solution, not only are you dusting out all that stuff that's underneath there, you're actually getting the floor and that surface area clean. When I went under my refrigerator, somehow I ended up getting out donut holes that were under there. I would have never been able to do that if I had to like pull that thing out. I mean, realistically speaking, I'm not going to do that. It's heavy, and I'm not going to wait for my husband to come home so he can move all those appliances for me, because I just need to get it done. Now, this next cleaning tool, which cleans so many impossible areas in my home, is actually the sponsor of today's video. Hoto Tools has graciously sponsored today's video to help me clean all the impossible places in my home. And one of the tools that I'm highlighting today by Hoto Tools is their air capsule. This is not simply just a little duster or tiny little vacuum. When I tell you that this machine sounds and works like an airplane engine, I mean it. This tiny little air capsule actually has so much suction and the ability to be able to get into tiny little nooks and crannies in my home, to be able to get rid of dust and debris that is hiding that I couldn't reach with my hands or any other tool that I own. But by far my favorite discovery to clean an impossible area in my home with this Hoto Air Capsule is to clean my bathroom vents. Now, I don't want to take out my vacuum every single time that I need to clean out a vent. So to be able to have this little tiny tool charged and ready to go, and the fact that it comes with a bunch of different attachments, I'm able to take the attachment with the little bristle brushes, literally get up on my toilet and reach over, and to be able to clean my vents in a couple easy strokes. And the other area that I really have been loving using the Hoto Tools air compressor is in between my oven grates. That tiny little gap between the oven and the countertop is so hard to get into. I've used butter knives, I've used napkins, I've used any kind of like little rags, and it's just so hard to get into. I was able to use this tiny little like needle looking air attachment, and it literally blasted all of the dirt, crumbs, and debris out of there. I also recently discovered that you're able to use the air suction adapter to go ahead and vacuum seal bags, which is a huge plus. Right now, Hoto Tools is running an amazing price for this air capsule, so if you'd like to check it out, you can click the link in my description box below. All right, now talking about the oven, let's talk about oven grates. besides just like a regular wipe down every once in a while, I don't really love giving them a deep clean until I saw this amazing hack online, and that's to use a pumice stone specifically on cast iron grates. When I tell you this was the easiest, most non-toxic, no chemicals required clean of my life, I kid you not. All I had to do was get that little pumice stone wet and go to town, just kind of scrubbing. It almost felt like I was painting with the pumice stone onto my grates. I don't know how it does it, but it doesn't damage any of the grates or the toppers as long as they are cast iron. This was so easy, and stains that I haven't been able to really get rid of, I was able to get rid of within 10 minutes. And this is such an inexpensive way. It's non-toxic and it's really easy on your arms, hands, and just in general. You're not spraying chemicals. Such an amazing way to clean your oven. Okay, now let's talk about another area I've been avoiding because I feel like it's impossible to clean, but it's the dishwasher. Yeah, I know, shocker. Something that cleans your dishes actually needs to be cleaned by you, right? So on the side of the dishwasher, this is something that very often gets overlooked. It gets missed, and it's kind of impossible to clean because it's not inside of the dishwasher. So you can't just put it through like a cycle. You have to manually clean it, but it is no match with my Dupre steam cleaner. If you're interested in cleaning in a more natural way, things that are non-toxic, this steam cleaner right here is going to be your solution to that. Now, I've used the steam cleaner in so many different areas of my home, but I have yet to use it on my dishwasher. And to see that the rust was able to come off within just a few squirts of that steam was amazing. All I had to do was just literally steam that rust, and all the grime and everything was sliding along with it. Then I just had to take a little washcloth, wipe it off, and within literally a matter of seconds, my dishwasher looked like it was brand new. Okay, now while I still have my Dupre steam cleaner out, I went ahead and I found another area that cleans things for me, but then also needs to be cleaned by me, and that is the washer. Now, especially if you're someone like me who loves their cleaners, detergents, fabric softeners, the scent beads, all kinds of those things that I know are not technically good for you, but I just love the way they smell. They tend to gunk up your washer after a long time use, so you do need to regularly clean your washer. I took my steam wand and I just blasted the entire drum of the washer. I also went ahead and I steamed the area where you put in the detergent because after a while that stuff builds up and it's kind of hard to remove. So I steam blasted that. I went ahead and I also got around the rim. And then what I did is after I removed all of that visible gunk, I went ahead and I just got some regular vinegar that I had in my kitchen. I poured it into the drum and I started a load. So any dirt that may have been loosened by the steamer itself, when I put in that vinegar wash in there, it would have been able to break down the rest of that grime and gunk and wash it out completely, and it took a matter of minutes. Okay, one of the biggest pet peeves in my home are baseboards, but I hate cleaning them. To me, it's almost an impossible task. I try to stay on top of them, but realistically, it's so hard, and I feel like they get so dusty so fast. So when I saw this hack online, I had to try it. All you need to do is take a fabric softener sheet, go ahead and wrap it around with a rubber band onto a vacuum attachment. Then taking your vacuum attachment and running it along your baseboards with that fabric softener sheet attachment, you're going to dust the entire baseboard without having to bend over. You're going to coat your baseboards in a little bit of that fabric softener film, and it's going to prevent future dust from sticking onto your baseboards. So you're going to have cleaner baseboards that are dust-free for so much longer. This next one I saw on the internet, it blew my mind because where was this years ago when my kids were little, getting sick all the time, and we constantly had a need for a humidifier, but they constantly were getting dirty and moldy, and I had no idea how to clean them. This hack is going to work for any tight space where you cannot get your hand into, your fingers into, your cloth or cleaning accessories. All you need is rice. So for today, I have my humidifier container that holds water that is dirty, smells of mildew, and needs to be cleaned. I also have my carpet cleaning machine dirty water tank reservoir that also reeks. Now, all you're going to do is you're going to take a cup and a half of dry, uncooked rice, and you're going to put that into whatever reservoir that you want clean. Then I also recommend taking a cleaning solution of your choice and filling the reservoir with nice hot water. Then you're going to seal the lid, the cap, whatever whatever it is to seal that area and give it all a really good shake. Just go ahead and shake it and feel all of that rice kind of getting into every nook and cranny. What that's going to do is all of those little rice granules are going to get into all those little pockets, all those corners, and because they are coarse and kind of hard on the surface, they're able to grip onto dirt, and as you're swishing and washing everything, it's literally cleaning the entire surface. Now, then once you're all done with that, all you have to do is open up the cap to whatever you're cleaning and then dump out the water and give everything a couple of rinses until all of the rice is able to come out. Now, initially I was a little bit worried that some of the rice was going to get stuck in some of those tiny little spots and not come out, but honestly, after a couple of rinses, every single granule was able to come out. And then what I also did is with the humidifier, because I did see a little bit where I felt like needed like an actual microfiber cloth, I took a microfiber cloth and I went ahead and I got it wet and I put it into the hole of the humidifier and I sloshed it around, and that absolutely got rid of all of like the sliminess, the dirt, any dust or debris that was in there. It was spotless. This next cleaning hack is for all of you who like to use an all natural or a wooden cutting board and you can't put it in the dishwasher to disinfect it. I found that using the combination of coarse salt or a kosher salt as well as some kind of apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, or a lemon is the absolute best combo to get into every tiny little cut, scrape, and area of your cutting board. What the coarse salt is going to do is it's going to act almost like a sandpaper, where it's going to grind off any of the food debris, any of the smell, anything that's kind of hiding and lingering into any of the scratches where your knife cuts into. That's going to go ahead and be that abrasive agent that's getting rid of that gunk. And then following up with an acid, whether it's an apple cider vinegar, a regular vinegar, lemon juice, or a real lemon, that's what's going to go in and kill bacteria. I used this method and I went ahead and I let it sit for like 15 minutes so it goes and seeps into the wood, and then I rinsed everything off. And when I tell you there's no smell, any kind of like sliminess, funkiness, nothing was there. And this is a surefire way to get the cleanest cutting board that is disinfected, clean, and ready to be used. All right, this one's gonna expose me a little bit, but it's my trash can. I mean, I know it's just for trash and I know it's supposed to get dirty, but I feel like anytime someone comes over, I'm so self-conscious about my trash can, because if someone goes and, you know, throws something away and there's just like gross dirt and grime like stuck onto the trash can, it's just so nasty. But aside from like, you know, wanting to look presentable to guests, like practically speaking, it just stinks, reeks, and doesn't make me feel very good when I go to throw trash out. So the easiest way that I found to regularly clean my trash can so it's not a difficult task is to go ahead and start with using tools like my Hoto Air Capsule, where I can go ahead and get into areas like the foot pedal, which how do you clean the foot pedal? So taking my air capsule, I will actually go in and I will blow air into all those little nooks and crevices, and I will dust out and get all of that debris out so I know that it's clean. And then I will also go ahead and clean the rim of the trash can. I will rinse it out. I will take my garbage bin outside. I will rinse it. I will clean it. When it comes to the actual bin on the inside, I will just take a vacuum. I will vacuum out as much as I possibly can. And then I will also take my Dupre steam cleaner. And this is where that like magic sanitization happens. You're able to get rid of all the gunk, all the debris, and that steam wand is able to literally blast out all the dirt that is hiding in all the corners and all those little folds of the rim. And I'm telling you, this is the fastest and the best way to make it look like you just picked it up from the store, because it will look brand new. It's going to smell amazing. If there was a single cleaning hack that you didn't know, or maybe you learned something new, would you let me know what it was down in the comments below? Or if you have a genius cleaning hack to clean impossible places in your home, please let me know so I can test it out too. As always, thank you guys so much for joining, watching. I'll see you guys in my next one.